Well, hello, everyone. I know we're a little late. Welcome to our November 3rd meeting. I cannot believe we're in November, and I'm sorry that we're late. It's 7:06. Yikes. Mr. Ongley, can you please call attendance or not?
Thank you. Joe Abdallah, Victoria Ceylon, Stephanie Kolnick, Jesse Liebman, here, Angela Macirulo, Alex McNaughton,
Present.
Justin Ongley here, Jen Pody,
Here.
Jane Sargent, Pete Tagley, Mary Weber, Christine Weidig.
Thank you.
Full house.
Great. So now we get to introduce our new school resource officer, Mr. Dennis. Welcome. You want to introduce him?
Well, it's a pleasure to be able to help the board meet and greet a little bit with Dennis, who I've gotten to know over the past weeks, and he's added a lot to our school. He's helping us with safety, helping us with operations. He's going to help us do a tabletop training exercise with his background and experience. He's also getting to know our kids, and I think he's going to do some real community policing, meaning build relationships with students and do things in classrooms and in some of our other spaces and make those close relationships where that really benefit the climate of the school. And I've seen that already start. Um, I think we made a good decision helping you join our team. Dennis, we're glad to welcome you to the team and wanted you to have a chance just to say a few words to the board so they can get to know you a little bit.
Good evening. So my name is Dennis Phelan, if anybody missed it, and I appreciate you guys inviting me here. I just want to say I've been welcomed by everybody, the principal, everybody's been in the whole school system. They've been very helpful since I'm new to the area, new to the SRO position. And I just want to thank everybody that's been so helpful. And if you guys got any questions of me, I'll gladly answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. When we do the tabletop, will it just be for Chippewa or will we have one for each of the schools?
We could do one for each of the schools. I mean, I believe the superintendent may have a different plan, but I think superintendent, were we going to have all the administrators for the schools?
We are going to do them for each school, Mary. And when I was speaking to Ethan Labella and Joe and Dennis about this, initial question was, will we do one big tabletop first, or will we make scenarios that seem to be more applicable and specific to the different campuses? And we came out on the side of making them a little more surgical so that the experience is more meaningful and tailored to what might actually happen on different campuses. So the first one coming up, I think on November 18th, is going to be aimed at Chippewa and the kinds of things that could happen. Now, of course, there are common threats and things that, I mean, a hurricane doesn't discriminate by grade or kind of what, so forth. But we think we have some really, really challenging scenarios that we can use to learn and grow from. And we think we're going to aim them and target them at the particular schools. So the second tabletop will be more of an elementary exercise.
Sounds good. That's great.
Anybody else have questions? Well, I know that you are already very on top of things because I know that you already submitted the school safety report to the state ahead of schedule.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Try getting that done. Didn't want to fall behind in that.
No, you did. No, that was really great. So thank you and welcome. We're really happy that you're here. So welcome to the community. And I hope you feel welcomed.
Oh, I definitely do.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Great. I think you need the microphone, right?
I don't know when it's appropriate, but we need to add an item to the agenda, something we passed at the F&O meeting that needs to be approved by the board.
What?
It's the money to be used for the bollards and gates over at Burnham.
Okay. Do that.
But we can add that wherever at the end if you want.
Should we just amend the agenda now?
Sure, I'll email the, amend the agenda, include new business item, I guess, maybe they do a vote on. the next
Yeah,
agenda.
so why don't you do that now?
I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda under new business a vote on whether to expend $4,500 for, out of the CNR fund for bollards and gates at the Burnham School.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
Uh, Could
Jen,
be under
in
new
this,
business.
in the same vein, the second item on the, on new business, consider the appointment of members to the Agri-Science Advisory Committee.
All right, so we're adding that to the new business, for the third, okay? So, thank you. So are you adding something?
No, we're subtracting.
Okay.
Because, the, Agri-Science Committee has tabled, the appointments
Okay,
until, I think February.
okay. So then we need, can I have a motion do we need a motion to take that off the agenda or to table it? This is,
Okay, I'll make a motion to table,
just to clean it up a little bit.
I make a motion to table the consideration of appointments of the members, up to the Agri-Science Advisory Committee till February.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. Thank you, Mary. I should keep that. Okay. So moving on to public comment on agenda items only. Is there anybody that would like to say anything? No. Okay. Great. Moving on to the consent agenda. Alex, this is your favorite.
Thank
Art.
you, Mayor. My little dainty hand.
Anybody else? Anything that wants?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Alex. Moving on to the athletic program update, Mr. Parachi, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for allowing me this opportunity to report to you about Chipaw's fall athletic programs. To date, we've had a successful season with many honors and accomplishments for our teams and individual student athletes, and hopefully there'll be more both to come before the season ends. During this fall season, we had 126 high school students registered to participate in athletics, and in middle school, we had 68. The middle school fall season wrapped up last week with soccer and field hockey teams having played their final contests, and the middle school cross-country team competed this past Saturday at the state championship meet at Whitcomb Park in Manchester. The high school regular season for all sports, except for football, has ended. League tournaments have concluded, and our teams are now involved in CIAC state tournaments. The golf team, after graduating 3 Berkshire League All-Stars last year, were very competitive and had a successful season. The team had a new look, with several members earning varsity roster spots for the first time this year. The team finished with a 7-5 record, with the team highlight of the season being a victory against perennial league power Lakeview High School. In addition, based upon his performance during the regular season, as well as his score in the Berkshire League All-Star Tournament, senior Wyatt Ongley earned Berkshire League All-Star status, being the lone Chippewa representative this year. So congratulations to Wyatt and his dad, who's sitting up there.
Yes.
In addition, Wyatt qualified for the CIAC state tournament as an individual, and he competed at Keeney Park in Windsor, capping off a very solid senior season. The Chippewa field hockey team had an excellent regular season, and they captured the regular season Berkshire League championship for the third consecutive year. 3 of the girls on the team were recognized as first-team Berkshire League All-Stars, and they are Lily Bialak, Reese Evans, and Nikki Lights. The Spartans beat the Lakeview Bobcats 2-1 in Berkshire League tournament semifinals, And then in a league tournament championship game, they lost a heartbreaker that went the distance with the game remaining scoreless after double overtime until it was ultimately decided on penalty strokes. I don't know how many people up there are field hockey aficionados or know how field hockey works, but when you get to overtime, instead of playing 11 on 11, they take 4 players off of each team, and it's 7 versus 7, which is just like opens it up. It's exhausting for the girls. And they went through the double overtime, and it was still tied, and then they went to penalty strokes. So it was a real exciting game. Disappointing to lose, but it was an exciting experience for those girls. The team is playing in the upcoming CIAC tournament. They have the number 4 seed. They will host number 13 Watertown tomorrow here at Chippewa at 2:00 p.m. And we hope that they can get a win then and continue on in the state tournament. The boys soccer team also won the Berkshire League regular season championship for the 3rd consecutive season. This year they finished as co-champions along with Nottawa. Unfortunately, in the league tournament, they suffered a semifinal loss at home here to Housatonic, which prevented them from reaching and winning the championship of the tournament for a 3rd consecutive year. 3 of our players, seniors Drew Koenig, Sonny Smith, and James Kirsten, were selected as first-team Berkshire League All-Stars because of their performances during the regular season. Thanks to their number 2 CIAC Class S state tournament seed, they drew a first-round bye, so they didn't have to play last week. And today, they won 3-1 in a second-round matchup against Valley Regional High School. Valley Regional's a Shoreline Conference team. They're located off of Route 9 down in Deep River. Next up for them, we're hosting the quarterfinal game here on Thursday at 2:00, and we're going to face the winner of, there's a game going on right now. It's East Hampton versus Morgan. So there will be quarterfinal game here on Thursday at 2:00. CIAC ticket charges will apply, and we'll get the word out about all of that. And, hopefully we win that, move on to the semifinals. Football, moving on to football. After 3 years of membership in the Northwest United Football Co-op, Chippewa now participates in the newly formed Nottawa Chief Football Co-op. The team, which competes as an independent and doesn't have any league affiliation, consists of players from Nottawa, Lakeview, and Chippewa High Schools, and has had a very successful season to date. Currently, the team has an undefeated record at 6-0. They sit atop the Class SS rankings within CIAC. And there are 9 Chippewa students in the program, including seniors Ryan Salon and Kurt Warner. And the team has 3 regular season games left, including a home game the day before Thanksgiving. If the program continues its winning ways, it's safe to say that a berth in the CIAC Class SS tournament is in the cards. The Chippewa cross country teams both had successful seasons, with the boys finishing 2nd in the league and the girls capturing their first Berkshire League championship since 2018. At the Berkshire League championship meet, we had 5 of our runners earn Berkshire League All-Star status. They're Lily Cassini, Molly Sedito, and Vienna Carew for the girls, and for the boys, Liam Riendo and Will Abraham, both earned All-Star status. Both teams had impressive showings in the CIAC championships, with the boys finishing 5th and the girls finishing 2nd, which was a little bit of a heartbreaker because they really had a chance going in. They came up just short. However, that 2nd place finish earned them a spot in today's CIAC open meet, where they went. It was the top schools in all of Connecticut, regardless of size. And their goal there, being realistic, was to come in ahead of Cromwell, and they did. So they considered that a bit of a victory. During the Class S championship meet, Lily Cassini finished 5th overall, and her performance earned her recognition as an all-state cross-country runner. And with a lot of the team left coming back next year, the girls really hope to be a contender for the Class S state championship. The Chippewa girls soccer team had an improved season this fall, and along with some bright spots and some close games, they earned a couple of wins, which didn't happen last year. And they gained, it was really a young squad, and they gained a lot of valuable varsity experience. Seniors this season were Inez Ish, Thea D'Amico, Christiane Person, Eva Mathis, and Ava Petruska. And they had 19 girls. We expect a big class of 8th graders, and we're only losing 6. So we're hoping the momentum that they've started to generate and the experience that they started to build is going to pay off next year with with all the experience that they now have. We've talked a little bit about postseason honors. All state teams for soccer, football, and field hockey have not yet been announced. And we're hoping, we hope and we expect that when the all-state teams have been announced, we see some Chippewa Spartans on those lists. I'd like to thank the board for this opportunity to provide an update on our athletic seasons. I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at some of our upcoming games. I just wanted to open it up and see if anyone has any questions.
Well, just first, Coach Parachi, thanks for all you do to help our kids grow up, you and your coaching staff. And it's nice to hear all those accolades. And our athletes are competitive. They want the wins and they're nice to get, but they're also growing up into great sports persons. And I think that's due to your leadership and what the coaches are teaching them. And there was a story that you shared with me a while ago. I'm wondering if didn't one of our teams share communication?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like maybe you think I'm too sentimental, but this to me kind of mattered as much as any win-loss record. Maybe you could tell the board about it.
All right. So, the principal at Northwestern Regional, I used to coach against him when I was the head basketball coach at Chippewa. He was the head basketball coach at Thomas. I'm looking up, I want to get the wording right here. Figure out how to work my new phone. Yes, so Northwestern Regional had a terrible season, wins and losses wise. They got killed like every game, and even though they're a relatively big school, they just had a hard time fielding a team, and the Chippewa field hockey team made a handmade card that they gave to them. And it said, "You are not defeated when you lose, you are defeated when you quit." And they all signed it, and they said, "Thank you for never giving up this season." And I'm just looking. The coach came to the principal, and she had tears in her eyes when she was just showing him what the Chippewa field hockey team did. And I had no idea they were doing it, but I was totally unsurprised when I saw they were doing that, because they really are thoughtful and they preach a lot of that. And yeah, so
That's
thanks
really
for
wonderful.
reminding me of that story, Dr. Schultz.
That's really.
Any other questions?
Mhm.
All right, well, hopefully we see some of you at our upcoming state tournament games. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate
By
it.
the way, former Chippewa Spartan, if you don't follow the Chippewa Spartan on social media,
Yeah.
you should.
Yep.
And former Chippewa Spartan Reed Warner tonight, the Bryant Bulldogs at Siena. So if you see Angela a little distracted, it's
Aw.
early, it's early,
Hey.
it's early.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, another really good Chippewa Spartan is Claire Moore, who's been doing an amazing job at Springfield College playing field hockey, and she's been really doing amazing.
We always like to try to,
Please.
when our former Chippewa High School athletes move on to college and have some success.
Yeah.
We always like to try to highlight that
Yeah.
on our social media.
Yep.
And she was so she plays for Springfield College.
Yep.
As Jen's son Noah is the goalie for the men's soccer team there. They participate in the New England Women's and Men's Athletic Conference,
Mm-hmm.
which is called the NUMAC. And Claire Moore was the NUMAC Defensive Player of the Week this week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
Huge
Yeah,
as a
that's really good.
freshman. And
As
she
I
played-
believe Noah Pody has also been the Defensive Player of the Week. Am I correct there?
NUMAC Player of the Week
Yeah.
of this week?
No.
Oh, no, yeah.
Past
Yeah,
defense.
yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't.
No, it's all right. No, I was like, what? No. Yeah, yes. But it's great. Yes. So we're really proud of Claire Moore because she's, as a freshman too, that's a big deal. So we're really proud of her. So it's a good deal. Yes. So thank you. Thank you. And our other, let's just keep talking about Springfield, but Lucy Puskis, who's a previous Chippewa graduate who is now the athletic trainer, and her grad program is the men's soccer athletic trainer. It's just a big Chippewa party up there, which is really nice. It's amazing. She played softball up there, and now she's the athletic trainer so it's really fun seeing a lot of the Chippewa alum up there. So it's pretty great. Well, thank you. Moving on to the October 1st enrollment reports.
Okay, thank you. before I do that, isn't there one more illustrious alum of Springfield College here tonight? I said, isn't there one more illustrious alumni of Springfield College here? Okay. Okay, so most of you probably know and recall every October 1st, districts report their official enrollment numbers. And in your packet, you have a enrollment report table for this for 25, 26. And I just want to take a minute or two to help summarize that report and tease out some of the bigger patterns in that. So the number of students enrolled as of October 1st is the official enrollment report that we make to the state. And we use those numbers to inform budget decisions and also to track trends and fluctuations of student cohorts across our district, such as like the number of students we have in our elementary schools or our middle high school or in agri-science, or the number of students we have tuitioning in, or residents versus non-residents. So this chart can help you tease that out, and I'm going to try to help a little bit more just by summarizing it. So our October 1st enrollment this year is 812 students. That's up 15, just for context, from last year's total of 797. On the left-hand side of the document you received, you can start, first metric is to look at the breakdown by schools. So we had 74 students enrolled at Burnham, and that's up 6 this year compared to 68 from last year. There are 88 students enrolled at Booth. That's up 2 students this year. There are 164 students at Washington Primary, and they're comprised as in this way: 118 students plus 46 students in the pre-K REACH program. So 118 K to 5, 46 in REACH. And last year there were 114 students with 42 in REACH. It's also interesting to note that those REACH students, those 46 REACH students at Washington Primary, come from across the region. There are 16 who reside in Bridgewater, 9 in Roxbury, 19 in Washington, and 2 are non-residents. There are 486 students enrolled at Chippewa. 133 of those are in the middle school. 353 are at the high school and the Chippewa Valley Partnership. The middle school's down 1 student, and the high school's up 1 student. Compared to last year, there's some stability there. We have currently 129 agri-science students enrolled from sending towns, and 35 students in our agri-science program who are residents. 27% of the students in the agri-science program are residents of the region. 164 total agri-science students. That's down 5 from last year, where it was 169. All these numbers reflect both resident students and non-resident students, including, don't forget, students from Sherman, tuition-in students, and of course, the agri-science students I mentioned from our sending towns. And we can take a look also with using this report at how these different categories play out. So first, as to resident students across the region, we have 584 students who reside in Bridgewater, Roxbury, or Washington. That's 18 more than last year. We have 228 total non-resident students. That's 3 fewer than last year. Across the district, 72% of our students are residents, 28% are non-residents. But at Chippewa, that trend is closer to 50-50. The percentages for Chippewa in the high school, where agri-science is a big player, for 912 at Chippewa, 36.5, 37% of our students are from agri-science sending towns, 49% are residents, and 14% are tuition in, including some students from Sherman or some students who are children of staff members. As far as the town breakdown goes, in Bridgewater, there are 155 students, residents now, of course, 147, and plus 8 agri-science students. Roxbury has a total of 171, 155 plus 16 resident agri-science students. And Washington has a total of 247, 258 which is 247 plus 11 agri-science students. And these are things that you can see reflected in the table that you have in front of you. And it's a way for us to just sort of track how we're comprised. Anybody have any questions?
I did,
So,
oh, I'm sorry.
no worries. So thanks, Don, for talking about the sort of year over year change. I think it would be great if we could have a version of the table that shows that for reference.
Okay, I can try to get that for you. Yes.
Okay, great. And I was trying to track the change in agri-science students. It seems like for the most part, we're pretty level across the board with sort of marginal changes here and there. Did I miss something on the agri-science enrollment, or would you characterize it as roughly steady?
It's roughly steady, but there are blips on the radar that we could talk about and hypothesize about. You know, one is that we had maybe an unusually large number of Region 12 eighth graders indicate interest in the program and then entered the program. And then when they got into it and saw what the SAE commitment was and what some of the other FFA commitments were, decided that it wasn't for them. And there was some attrition there between 9 and 12 students, and that leads to some instability. And it's worth just taking that apart a little bit and trying to understand it, because in the past, I think we've all felt strong sense of commitment, dedication, and loyalty to get region kids in if they apply and indicate an interest. But we have to temper that with the understanding that we have to get better at trying to predict who really has that burning desire for agri-science and who really understands it and knows it. And I think we've gotten better at that working with sending towns, because sometimes people could apply to agri-science and they may not really love agri-science. There could be something else, some other push or pull factor that's involved in their decision. And in the interview process, we've gotten a lot better, I think, at finding out who the kids are that really love this and want to do it by what they say and what they've done before relative to agri-science. And there are a lot of considerations that go into admission, like your attendance record, your grades, your behavior record. But the jewel in the crown is, can you say something to the committee that shows you've done work in agri-science and that you love it and care for it? So this is just a hypothesis, but I think there's been some relative small but still noticeable instability in number of Region 12 kids that are admitted and then find out it wasn't really their cup of tea. And to be part of a solution on that, we think we're going to try to do more to help the kids understand what it really involves and make sure that we're getting kids who really want the experience, not just have a momentary impulse towards the shiny barn and the horses and all that, rather than true commitment that it takes. I don't know if I kind of ranted there a little bit.
No. That you sort of answered my follow-up question, which about how well a lot of the students really understand what the program is about. And I guess, a follow-on question that doesn't need to be answered tonight, but how much flexibility is there to meet students that have an interest, but maybe not as intense an interest? And is there some middle ground where we can make some of that coursework available without sort of the full commitment?
I think there is, this idea used to be maybe controversial, at least with me when I was living through the audit from the state and I wanted to dot every I and cross every T. But I've talked to a lot of senators and a lot of superintendents. I don't mean to be not looking at you all over there when I'm speaking, about how we can involve non-ag kids in some of the ag experience without running afoul of statutes or other regulations. And it seems pretty clear that if there's an agri-science section that every ag kid who wants a seat has one. Let's say there's 15 seats in that class and they're full of, there's 12 ag kids. No more ag kids want that class. We could make those 3 seats available to Chippewa students, and our counselors are starting to market that more. And I've talked more and more to other supers and other center directors and people from the state about that as a principal. And I think it's done. And I think it's done without an air of cloak and dagger about it. I first thought that it could, be somehow count against us in our audit. I now think that as long as we mind those P's and Q's, we can do that. And that could be one way to get at what you're talking about.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank, these numbers are great because I'm continually asked by, not continually, but periodically asked by people, well, how many kids do you have in the agri-science program? Are they from Region 12 or are they from tuition in kids? And I want to study these numbers a little bit more because I want to be able to answer that question for the people in the future. Anyways, I appreciate getting those numbers.
The credit for the report that you all have goes to Nicole and her team as usual. They created this thing that's so user-friendly. Even I could understand it. It became idiot-proof for me, and I was able to write my notes for you all based on what she compiled.
Other questions? Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Moving on to reports and recognition. I don't really have a board report tonight. I feel like we've kind of covered a lot of ground, so I'm gonna move it on to you for the superintendent.
Just a couple of quick points. I assure you, yes. Oh, sure, I'll do that. Thank you, Mary. Yeah. I hope I remember all the stuff you said. I should ask him to stay. Yeah. Yeah, this is some cool stuff. So, bear in mind that this weekend, Chapag Drama will stage Little Women here in the auditorium, Friday at 7, Saturday at 7, and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the fall drama. They're really getting ready for a great show. I'm looking forward to it. At our elementary schools this month, it was Planktober. I got invited, but I wimped out. Plank, I doesn't mean I won't go some other year. Planktober is where they work on their core strength, and it's for students and staff, and they all get there and they plank, and a lot of them are just moving around like a crab. They're so good at it. It's great for physical fitness. And next week they're going to do care packages and cards for local veterans. That's news out of Booth and Burnham. And some news out of Washington Primary School is that they had a walking field trip over to Town Hall. Maybe they even saw Ms. Pody there. And they're there to study the branches of government. They met with Mr. Brinton to talk about government and his job. And then students took their learning back to the school and presented what they learned about government to a little town hall meeting in the school. I thought that was really, really neat and really interesting. Tomorrow we have a PD day. And I mentioned to the board before that a movie is being screened among educators. We actually found a way to screen it here tomorrow for our teachers. 2 showings, I think at 8:30 and 1. Any board members welcome to come if they wanted to, called Count It Out. And it's about how math education has become more difficult and maybe more inaccessible to certain kinds of learners, and how more than ever numeracy is relevant to understanding our world and intervening in a lot of the debates that we consider to be most important. They all involve a need for a certain scientific or mathematic literacy. And the movie's meant to, I think, make us question how are we making that literacy, that numeracy available to all students. Thank you. That's my report. Oh, here, this is the jewel in the crown now. Okay. The ag kids went to Indianapolis for the big national FFA convention. And this is nationwide. There's I don't know how many thousands of people from all 50 states in the FFA. They sit in the middle of Lucas Oil Stadium where Daniel Jones is lighting things up now. Us Giant fans should really be mad. Anyway, and our kids had some great experiences. So they compete in different team activities that showcase the skills they learn here at Chapag. The parliamentary procedure team won bronze in the national contest. Bronze is a sort of the lower third of the group, but you have to remember this is thousands of people from across the nation, so it's still interesting. And those 6 members, those 6 students, Cami TC, Hannah Coelho, Indigo Brinkerhoff, Julia Weiss, Kenny Bennett, and Quinn Kinashita McCauley, they won bronze. The meat evaluation CDE team also won bronze. Tony Atencio, Tallulah McCran. And Rachel Stirk and Claire Wheaton won silver, which is at this level pretty darn impressive. And the food science CDE team placed silver as a team at the national contest, with members Marco Leclerc and Dan Baxter winning bronze individual medals, and Mina Kier Eldon and Ileana Quigley winning gold individual, and Eliana winning 9th place overall in the entire nation when she walked across the stage to get recognized for what she did. You might recognize some of these names as graduates. The way this works is if you win a state championship as a senior, you're then invited to come back with the team and compete at the national level. So you might be hearing bronze, silver, gold, whatever. For them to be on this list as a senior, it means they won a state championship in something and were able to advance to the national level. In addition, students participated in a variety of workshops and leadership activities at the National FFA Convention and Expo, where they engaged with industry professionals, explored agricultural career pathways, and developed valuable personal and professional skills. They represented our program with pride and returned with new knowledge, connections, and inspiration to apply in and out of the classroom. And I'm sure if they were here, they would thank the board for supporting the trip. Thanks for reminding me, Mary. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So much to be proud of, for sure. Moving on to treasurer's report, Alex.
Yes, Nicole handed out numbers just for this meeting. I don't know if they're put in everybody's packet or not, but there really were no big surprises. The good news is we have 21.02% of our budget remaining. You got to remember, a lot of it has been encumbered already. And that's versus 19.48 last year at this time. So we're a little bit ahead of last year. There were some transfers of funds among departments, among line items to cover some unexpected expenses, but they came out of the same pot, so to speak, that they were in before. And the only issue that came up was we're still dealing with Frontier about our phone system. And it appears that they're going to end up owing us about, I can't remember, it was $1,200 or $1,400 when it's all said and done. But anyway, hopefully by next meeting, that will be history. And that's my report.
Thank you. Committee reports, Agri-Science Committee, Mary.
So we had a meeting tonight. It's our first meeting of the year. And as I mentioned before, we tabled having the addition of the 3 members that they had to the Agri-Science Advisory Committee, because we're going to restructure that committee, and that will happen for they have 2 meetings a year, and the first one will be the old Agri-Science Advisory Committee, and in March there'll be a new one that we'll have for the meeting then. Then the other thing I asked was for Don and Tyler to please give us an idea of exactly what the Agri-Science Advisory Committee is and what it does. And they did that for us. And also of course, Tyler presented the one thing I was so excited about was to hear about nationals, and that's spectacular. I'm just very excited about that. We had a short meeting because, well, we just did. And I guess that's about it. Thank you.
Curriculum,
Nothing
Jess-
new. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks from today, November 17th.
Ed Advance, Joe.
Nothing new to report. Our next meeting is this Thursday.
Thank you. Finance and Operations, Alex.
Yes, we just had our meeting. We hadn't had one in quite a while. Had it just before this meeting. So I may ramble a little bit, but go through the highlights of the notes. We received bids on on replacing the boilers at Washington Primary. And we took the low bid with, obviously, with Performance Plumbing. And that the number that came out there was $261,500. And I believe that they've already started work on it to some degree. We will talk about the bollards over at Washington, over at Burnham later. And the motion to fund that. Let me just look at my notes here. We discussed the track situation and had not really come up with a definitive answer, but the thoughts that we might hire an engineer and do borings in the existing track to figure out what we have below the surface there. It will be an expensive proposition and probably will be wrapped into a bonding issue at some point. Currently, we still owe $1.5 million to Webster Bank. It's payable over the next 4 years. And U.S. Bank, we owe $6 million payable over the next, I can't read my handwriting, I think it's 14 years. We talked about the kitchen situation and we may hire a cost estimator once we get plans for that to figure out exactly how much it's going to cost. The audit is almost complete, which is about a month or so ahead of time. And finally, we talked about the brush around the fields and the possibility of maybe getting our goats to do some trimming for us. So, but anyway, that's it. That's my finance F&O report, and we adjourned at 6:35. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Labor negotiations, Vicky?
Nothing new to report. We have our first official meeting on Wednesday.
Great, thank you. What time on Wednesday? Where is it?
Should be here, right? Here, or is it central office?
I think because it's a big team, they scheduled it here.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
I'll let you know the exact room. They found a space that can accommodate. I think it's one of the classrooms.
Okay.
Can you email that to
Because they have yes, I will
Thank you.
email it to the committee and the judge.
Thank you.
They have a sizable contingent,
Yeah.
so we wouldn't have fit.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Policy, Justin?
Nothing new. Our next meeting is December 8th.
Thank you. And nothing new for me to report for strategic long-range planning. Moving on to new business. To consider for approval, first reading, policy 5114, student discipline.
Okay, thanks. And just to brush the cobwebs off, you might think first read, we had a first read, but this is the one, if you recall, where I had given you a red line version and explained the changes that we were going to make. And then Shipman had said to me, wait, we're making a few more tweaks to this one. And rather than have to amend it twice, I just asked us to put the brakes on it. Now their final amendments are done. So I think we should still call this a first read because I'm going to tell you only a few things that they changed. And to make it, again, easier for you, I'm going to, once again, just go over the notes that I took on the differences between this final version that's in front of you now to become our policy 5114 versus the one that we had to begin with, okay? And this is the policy that sort of outlines and defines the different features and infractions that could subject you to discipline and how the school will handle that procedurally so that it's open and transparent. And there aren't huge philosophical changes in the new policy. There are a few ideas that are different that I'll summarize again in a minute. Really, it's just to bring this policy in sync with other things that have changed so that this policy isn't out of step with some of the other things that are new and different in other policies we've passed and in the world, okay? So the big differences are, first of all, this policy now mentions the new climate policy and the new restorative practice policy that the board passed last spring, as every board had to, required by the state, and incorporates those two just by reference into this policy about how those are going to govern the way we think about managing student discipline problems. There's a new definition of bullying. You might remember I told you because the statute has changed. That's incorporated in this new policy. This policy mentions, and this is different now from the last time I brought this to you, Shipman has tweaked this, defines better and more fully the concept of challenging behavior. The idea now is that although when you investigate any kind of malfeasance, you have a legal duty to figure out whether it falls into this or that category so that you're following the law. Is it bullying? Is it Title IX? Is it harassment? Is it something like that? That's always important. But when you're working with kids, the main question is not just what box you check, but what happened and how you're going to help them out of it. Challenging behavior is the idea that there could be things that go wrong between kids that might not fall into any one of those legal boxes or rise to that level, but nevertheless need our attention and some restorative practice. Okay. So challenging behavior is mentioned in this new policy. You'll recall I said this policy now mentions the concept of AI, artificial intelligence. It defines it and talks about how the school can regulate it vis-a-vis things like plagiarism or deep fake, making bogus photographs or videos of people to their detriment, making anything that's obscene or inappropriate using artificial intelligence. All that's proscribed by this policy. It also defines the latest technology for vaping and vape delivery devices and prohibits those the same as cigarettes would have been. It adds, I told you all this before. I don't know whether you're sick of me, but I just think it's been a while, so I'm going to go over it one more time. It adds the concept of protected class harassment, which is in the law now. And that is that if somebody is ridiculed based upon membership in an historically protected class, that's automatically suspect and can lead to different kinds of actions. And now status, God forbid, but status as a victim of sexual assault or human trafficking is listed as one of the protected classes that somebody cannot be subject to ridicule for in the policy. It says that cannabis infractions, because cannabis is still not welcome on any school campus, but it's not illegal for the population the way it used to be. So the law now is that school response to cannabis, whatever the infraction, whatever the result or punishment, it can't be more serious than for possession of alcohol because it's the same kind of class of an item now. It specifically mentions use of racial, ethnic, religious slurs, etc., as per se infractions, which is kind of always the way we thought, but it's in there. It's actually codified in there now. It adds challenging behavior as an infraction that I mentioned before. And the last thing is that now, if you're investigating student misbehavior, before you levy a consequence, you have to check to determine if the student actor is homeless, because if they are, you have to consider the impact of that homelessness on their actions. So now that was a lot, and I'm enough to make anybody glaze over. I wasn't like this as a teacher, let me assure you. I had a much more, I don't know why I'm slipping into this terrible persona here and now tonight, but I can make these notes available to you. I'll just maybe type them up and send them to you so you know. And then when we come back next time, then you might feel like you've had a real first read and you're ready for a second read and ready to vote on it. Okay, but I'll take questions now too. Thanks.
Can I have a motion for a first read again? For 5114? First, can I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Abstain? It moves on for a first read again. Thank you. Great. So now moving on to Alex.
Yeah. I'll give a little background.
Yeah, please.
The Burnham School, you drive in to the right of the building and there are lots of parking spaces there. But the road continues around to the left behind the school where the playgrounds are. And there's no real differentiation between where parking ends and kids playing starts. There have been some small cones put up to keep people from driving it behind the school. There have been instances where people don't understand the system and have driven back there, and it's dangerous to have kids and cars interacting. So what has been requested and what we're proposing is to put up bollards about every 5 feet, and then a gate so that you can allow, say, the fire trucks to get in if need be, or deliveries. Now, not many deliveries are done through the back, but the entire program, the entire project will cost $4,500. But we need a motion to approve it. And what I'd like to do is just read the motion. It's to, let me find where I put it here. To approve spending of $4,500 from this CNAR fund for bollards and gates at the Booth School, Burnham School, excuse me, get my schools mixed up. Aye. Yep, thank you.
It's too late. Sorry. Okay. So now, can I have a motion to adjourn? Second. Great. Thank you, everyone.